Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Today in History, the show where we peel back the calendar and discover December 27th isn't a date. It's a historical Black Friday doorbuster. Everything happens. Empires flex, scientists panic, continents shake, colonial powers get dragged, theaters misfire spectacularly, and the cosmos tosses gamma radiation at us like it's trying to get our attention. It's the one date that handles more world history than the average high school textbook, except with fewer pop quizzes and slightly less emotional scarring. So buckle up, because December 27th is that kid in school who volunteers for every extracurricular activity, and you just know they're headed straight for burnout and a scholarship. Let's dive into this overachieving day. Segment 1, domes, colonial headaches, and the universe's first rebel astronomer. December 27th starts strong with the Hagia Sophia's consecration in 537, when Emperor Justinian walks into his new megachurch and basically performs the world's first architectural mic drop. Picture it. The dome looks like it's floating. The sunlight's hitting the windows just right, and Justinian says, "Solomon, I have outdone you," which is ancient leadership for "try me." Meanwhile, half the city is still remembering the Nika riots, the medieval version of when your sports team loses and suddenly everyone forgets what a trash can is for. Justinian rebuilds with the energy of a man who cannot accept therapy but can accept a massive construction budget. Then we jump to 1512, when Spain writes the Laws of Burgos, the world's earliest attempt to regulate colonial behavior. Theologians debated morality. Settlers debated how fast they could ignore those theologians. And indigenous people debated, wait, who invited these guys? The laws basically said, don't mistreat people, but also make them work for you. But also treat them well. But also don't stop using them. It's the colonial version of a parent telling a kid, be nice to your sibling, while secretly hoping the chores get done. And then, in 1571, Johannes Kepler is born. This is the man who looked at circular planetary orbits and said, cute idea, but wrong. Astronomers had been drawing perfect circles for centuries. Kepler walks in with ellipses like he's pitching a new geometry-based reality show. He breaks the universe, fixes the math, and gives the cosmos a makeover. December 27th continues its streak of producing people who absolutely refuse to go with the flow. Segment 2. Darwin leaves home, Pasteur declares war on milk, and Ether invents a softer world. December 27th, 1831. Darwin finally boards the HMS Beagle after weeks of storms and anxiety. The man is seasick before the ship even leaves the harbor. He's on board mostly to keep the captain company, the scientific equivalent of bringing a friend on a road trip so you don't talk to yourself. But from that humble beginning, he'll eventually rewrite biology. It's not often someone gets on a boat to chill and ends up challenging every church homily within a 500-mile radius. Also on December 27th, just earlier in 1822, Louis Pasteur is born. Pasteur is the guy who looks at microbes and says, "You're the bad guys." Before him, people believed in spontaneous generation. The idea that life just pops out of nowhere, like glitter after a kid's craft project. Pasteur shuts that down with experiments so clean and precise, he accidentally invents the modern overachiever stereotype. Germ theory, vaccines, pasteurization, all because one man refused to let milk bully humanity. Then comes 1845, when Dr. Crawford Long uses ether anesthesia for childbirth. Before this, giving birth was basically a marathon mixed with a horror novel. Long introduces the idea that maybe, just maybe, pain doesn't have to be the main course. But he forgets to publish his discovery, making this the scientific equivalent of curing the common cold and then misplacing the sticky note you wrote it on. Segment 3. Fairy dust economics, musical uprisings, and the power of never growing up. December 27th, 1904. Peter Pan premieres. A flying boy, a jealous fairy, a pirate father figure. It's basically therapy on stage, but whimsical. The audience claps to save Tinkerbell, which is adorable until you realize this play pioneered emotional hostage-taking in children's entertainment. Barry donates the copyright to a hospital, proving he was either a saint or just really wanted tax breaks. Then, in 1918, the Greater Poland Uprising begins. And unlike many attempts in Polish history, this one actually works. Ignacy Paderewski arrives, pianist, statesman, hair icon, and inspires people so effectively that they overthrow local German authorities. Imagine a modern artist walking into a city and everybody immediately starts forming battalions. If Taylor Swift had that power, we'd have 3 new nations by Friday. Segment 4. Radio City's 6-hour catastrophe and the day the earth hit shake. December 27th, 1932. Radio City Music Hall opens with a show so long and unfocused that critics left wondering if they'd accidentally witnessed a hostage situation. It had everything: acrobats, dancers, dramatic readings, essentially the variety version of a grocery store that sells gas grills, sushi, and tires. The audience survived, barely. The owners quickly pivoted to Rockettes plus movies, proving sometimes you have to fail loudly before you kick in unison gracefully. Then 1939 brings the Erzincan earthquake, a massive seismic event that scientists today still point at when explaining how fault lines gossip with each other. It triggers decades of earthquakes migrating westward, like tectonic groupies following a rock band. Turkey is literally shifting under its citizens' feet, and December 27th says, "Oh, don't worry, I'm just warming up." Segment 5. The global ATM turns on, and colonialism finally runs out of coupons. December 27th, 1945. The IMF and World Bank formally launch. Economists celebrate, politicians smile for cameras, and regular people blink and say, "Wait, what is this, and why do interest rates suddenly matter?" The institutions peg exchange rates, rebuild countries, and manage crises. Bretton Woods becomes the global financial operating system, whether anyone voted for it or not. And, surprise, the U.S. gets admin privileges. Then, in 1949, Indonesia finally receives recognized sovereignty from the Netherlands. 2 ceremonies occur, one in Amsterdam and one in Jakarta, like a divorce finalized in 2 counties. Flags go up, flags go down, and 350 years of colonialism gets reduced to signatures on fancy paper. It's diplomatic theater with real stakes. And December 27th stands there saying, "Yes, another empire ends. You're welcome." Segment 6. Afghanistan becomes the center of the world's most complicated flowchart. December 27th, 1979. The Soviet Union invades Afghanistan. This is the geopolitical equivalent of lighting a fuse without checking where it leads. Leadership changes overnight. Global alliances rearrange themselves like panicked cats. And suddenly, the Cold War gets a fresh jolt of drama. The U.S. responds with sanctions, boycotts, covert funding. It's like a Cold War subscription box. This month's theme is destabilization. The consequences echo for decades, proving December 27th has range, from domes to diplomacy to disaster. Segment 7. Airports lose their innocence. A leader falls, and a magnetar flexes on the solar system. December 27th, 1985. Coordinated attacks at 2 European airports transform global aviation forever. Travel security goes from mildly annoying to prepare for 3 hours of lines and a pat-down that feels like a second date. The world learns that airports are soft targets, and December 27th whispers, "Told you I could escalate." Then, in 2007, Benazir Bhutto is assassinated, reshaping South Asia's political trajectory. Her death sends shockwaves through Pakistan and triggers massive unrest. It's one of those moments where history doesn't just pivot, it lunges sideways. And to cap things off, in 2004, a magnetar 50,000 light years away blindsides Earth with the brightest gamma-ray flash ever recorded. Our ionosphere jitters, satellites panic, astronomers scream into their notebooks, and regular humans go on with their day, not realizing the universe almost poked us with a cosmic cattle prod. December 27th contains multitudes, and one of them is apparently Galactic Flashlight Day. In conclusion, December 27th isn't a date. It's a historical marathon runner doing sprints while juggling. It births scientists, launches revolutions, invents anesthesia, opens theaters, collapses empires, rewrites planetary motion, shakes continents, restructures global finance, starts proxy wars, redefines airport security, destabilizes nations, and then casually tosses in a cosmic laser light show from across the galaxy. If history had a most likely to overachieve superlative, December 27th would win by a landslide. Thanks for watching. And remember, if the universe ever seems quiet, check your calendar. December 27th might just be warming up.